Good day, everyone. Today, we're going to tackle about the Filipino character presented by Group 2, second year Charlie. Filipino cultural values. Much has been written about Philippine cultural values. Filipino values are given emphasis in the culture and tradition of the Filipino. Ugaling Pilipino or Ugaling Pinoy. Often we hear the line only in the Philippines. If we were asked where to see such things or such characteristics. Strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino character. Ambivalence characterizes Filipino moral values. It means Filipinos tolerate a double standard mentality. Father Goraspi 1969, as cited by Palispis 1995, says, Filipino values are ambivalent in the sense that they are potential for good and evil. They may help or hinder personal and national development depending on how they are understood and practiced or lived. Filipino values indeed have been characterized as either good or bad, and how a country develops depends on the way these values are being manifested. It means that Filipino values are important in our culture and can be good or bad, and it depends on how we practice them. In the next slide, we have here the list of Filipino strengths and weaknesses. And this was officially studied and reported in 1988 during President Corazon Aquino's time, and it was shared with the public through Senator Leticia Shanhani with the help of the Senate and the press.
My topic is about strength and Filipino character. So the first is pakikipagkapwa-tao. So pakikipagkapwa-tao is a Filipino core value that means treating others as a fellow human beings. The word kapwa means fellow or shared identity. Pakikipagkapwa-tao is about acknowledging that we are all concerned. It is a shown daily life through kindness, hospitality, helping others in needs, sharing and cooperation. So second is family orientation. It refers to values, habits, and ways of thinking that a person learns and develops within the family. So it means being family oriented, placing importance on the well-being of parents, siblings, and relatives. So in Filipino culture, family orientation very strong. People often make decisions and set priority based on what is the best for the family.
Number 3. Sense of humor. Filipino sense of humor is shown in their ability to laugh even in the worst circumstances. This trait singles out the Filipinos' infectious, joyful disposition and almost all types of varying situation. So, sense of humor, the ability to find laughter and lightness even in hardship, using wit and self-mockery to build resilience and connection. Number 4. Flexibility, adaptability, creativity. Creativity, resourcefulness, and being a quick learner mark out the Filipinos' success in their chosen field. Their propensity to improvise new systems and products out of whatever sources available made them famous. Their flexibility made them easily adaptable to the foreign work environment. These factors explain the phenomenon of overseas Filipino workers. A significant number of Filipino workers have proven their resiliency and a great capacity to adapt to foreign environments. So, the capacity to adjust to unexpected situations, thrive in different environments, and creatively make use of limited resources, as seen in OFWs and resourceful of innovation. Number 5. Hard work or industry. Hard work or industry as a Filipino trait is considered superior to most nations. This is not only proven by the Filipinos' willingness to take risks to work abroad but also by their stubborn will and effort to survive in the most challenging times abroad. So, a deep determination to meet responsibilities and uplift family, demonstrated by farmers persevering through challenges to provide for their loved ones.
Spiritual. This talks about how Filipinos have a strong faith in God. Their beliefs gives them natural guidance and help them stay motivated. Like common Filipino saying like, nasa Diyos ang awa at nasa tao ang gawa. This shows how much they trust in God during uncertain times. The spirituality makes them hopeful, guided, and resilient even when life is difficult. Ability to survive. Filipinos are known for their resilience and their strength to survive and adapt despite their struggles, whether it's economic hardship, political issues, or natural disasters. They can still stand strong and move forward. This ability to endure tough times shows that the Filipinos have this courage,
weakness of the Filipino character. Extreme personality. This is manifested in the tendency to give personal interpretation to action shocks, pakiusap, requests, palakasan, power, and influence, defeatings, and favoritisms. Extreme personalism. This refers to the tendency of the Filipinos to interpret action and relationship through highlight personal lens. For example, request, pakiusap, reliance on power and influence, palakasan, defeatings, and favoritisms are common. These extreme personalisms often leads to graft and corruption, which have become significant problems in the Philippine society. Instead of following rules and limits, decisions are influenced by personal relationships, undermining fairness and integrity. The extreme family-centeredness. Political dynasties, compadres, kamag-anak, incorporated, are conspicuous manifestation of this dysfunctional Filipino value in the workplace, and it is ever so strongly evident in the public sphere that even private organizations are not spared from its negative influence. The Filipinos' justification for this value in their strong and earnest desire to promote their family interests sadly due its effect on productivity, being in the public of the private spheres and inefficiencies and factionalisms, which are formidable stumbling blocks to national progress. Filipinos place a very strong emphasis on family ties, which manifests in political dynasties. Compadres is a close friend or godparents relationship, and kamag-anak incorporated family-run businesses or organization. While this stem from a genuine desire to support and promote family interests, it often results in inefficiencies and factionalism in both public and private sectors. These family-centered can hide their productivity and national progress because it's a prioritize and family loyalty over competence and merit.
Number 3 is lack of discipline. Lack of discipline encompasses several related characteristics. We have Filipino time, which is considered as poor time management, and another one is palusot syndrome and the pwede na iyan syndrome. Another is the ningaskugon attitude, which implies means starting projects with full vigor and interest, which will abruptly die down, leaving things sa kaniyan, and attitude, that habit of putting of what they need to do, which leads into efficient and wasteful work system. Violation of rules leading to more serious wrongdoings, and a casual work ethics leading to carelessness and lack of follow through. So we have number 4, colonial mentality. This is made up of 2 dimensions: lack of patriotism and an actual preference for foreign things like fashion, entertainment, lifestyle, technology, consumer items, and so forth. This is manifested by the Filipinos penchant for buying imported goods instead of local made.
Pakanya-kanya syndrome is a Filipino term describing a selfish, individualistic mindset that hinders cooperation and teamwork. It's closely linked to a crowd mentality where individuals try to pull down those who are succeeding rather than supporting them. So, amo na siya ang crowd mentality. Ani nga buligan nila ang tao nga mag-success, mas ginabutang nila padalom, so amo na siya ang meaning ka crowd mentality. It often involve gossip, criticism, and a lack of willingness to help others. It often involves gossip, criticism, and a lack of willingness to help others, leading to disunity and poor performance. Example of pakanya-kanya syndrome. Mas gina-prioritize nila ang personal interest over public service. Mayara man nga gina-use nila ila position to favor family or friends. or neglect their duties to the public, engage in corrupt practices for personal gains.
The tendency of superficial and somewhat fighting in the face of serious personal and social problems. This is a lack of analysis, a reflection, and instant satisfaction with superficial explanations and solutions. So there's a tendency among Filipinos to stay on the surface of things, avoiding deeper through or serious reflections. When faced with real, personal, and social problems, many settle a shallow answer and quick fix instead of truly understanding the root causes. This habit of being fiery or superficial can prevent meaningful change and keep people stuck in illusions rather than facing reality with clarity and courage. Filipino emphasizes and from rather than substance, this leads them into believing that impossible things can be or are already made impossible. Public as well as private loves are filled with flowery but meaningless agreements and assumptions. So, Filipino often prioritize appearances over deeper meaning, which can lead to unrealistic beliefs. Thinking that just because something looks good or sounds convincing, it must be true achievable in both public and private life. People tend to use flowery language and assumption that lack real substance. This creates a culture where superficial charm replaces genuine understanding and serious issues are glossed over with shallow solution instead of truthful reflections.
Other studies on Filipino moral character. So several studies have explored Filipino moral life, notably those by Father Jaime Bonatao, Father Leonardo Mercado, Father Francis Sintin, and Father Vitaliano Gorospe. So Father Bonatao's research highlighted the kami mentality of Filipinos. Kami is a Filipino term meaning us. And Father Gorospe noted that this mentality involves identifying strongly with family and relatives, with an oppositional view towards those not considered kami. Father Vitaliano Gorospe described this way of thinking as group-centeredness or group thinking, just like, for example, the Bayanihan spirit. We often hear about the Bayanihan spirit where communities come together to help one another. But does this spirit extend to everyone or just those who considered kami? We'll examine studies that explore the kami mentality and its influence on Filipino moral character, including when we choose to help and who we prioritize.
One arm of morality in the Philippines is called group-centeredness or group thinking. Once in group determines for the individual what is right or wrong. The individual was not yet attained moral independence and maturity will usually ask what will my family or my relatives and friends or even my barkada say? What will others say? This usually determines Filipino moral behavior. It is cautions for the outside. For instance, parents tell their daughter who is being courted that please entertain your boyfriend at home. Do not go outside. What will the neighbor say? Nakakahiya naman. Shame or hiya makes the parents and the girl conform to the social expectation of the neighbor class so that they become the object of chismis or gossip. Here again, there is a conflict between social and individual morality, between internal and external morality. The norm of morality should be internalized so that a mature individual should form their own moral conscience from the inside. So in the Philippines, many people think that what is right or wrong depends a lot on their in-group, like family, their friends, or neighbors. This way of thinking is called group-centeredness. When someone has not yet become morally independent, they tend to look outside themselves to decide what to do. They ask themselves, what will others think if I do this? What will my family or friends think if I do that? Will the neighbors gossip about me if I do that? Because of this, Filipino often follow social rules to avoid shame or hiya. Like for example, matulog ay na, parent, ginabalay yung daughter na she should entertain her boyfriend at home so that to avoid chismis or gossip sa ilang mga neighbors. So, they are worried about what other people will say, not just what the daughter personally think is right. This problem is when people rely on what others think. Others think their moral decisions are based on the outside pressure, not their own understanding of what is truly right or wrong. This is called external morality. So what the passage suggests is that as people grow and become more mature, they should develop their own inner sense of what is right, called internal morality or conscience, instead of just following what others think or what society respects. They should learn to decide of themselves based on their own understanding and values. So, external morality, this is when a person follows rules or behaves rightly because of the outside influence. This could be social rules, laws, or other people's opinion. The person might do what is right to avoid punishment, shame, or to gain approval. Their sense of morality depends on what others think or expect. Like, for example, a student studies hard because they want to have good grades and approval from their teachers and their parents. They do the right thing because this is what others expect from them. Muna siya ang external morality. So the internal morality, this is when a person follows their own inner sense of what is right and wrong. They make moral choices based on their personal values, beliefs, and conscience, not just because someone told them to or because of the outside pressure. Their morality comes from within. Like, for example, a person chooses to help someone in need because they believe that it is the right thing to do, even if no one is watching. So, muna siya ang external and internal morality. So in summary, external morality is doing what's right because of the outside influences, and internal morality is doing what's right because it aligns with your own inner sense of what's good and just.
Sakop mentality, a term used by Filipinos like Father Leonardo Mercado and Dr. Brenda Corpus to describe a form of group thinking where loyalty and unity within one circle, whether family, friends, or classmates, or colleagues, become the highest priority. While this mentality fosters companionship and mutual support, it can also lead to negative outcomes when loyalty overrides ethical or moral principles. The passage gives an example of extreme scenarios where people may commit or cover up wrongdoing, such as hiding crimes, lying, or taking someone's property, because the act benefits a member of the sakop. In such cases, the sakop dictates what is right or wrong, rather than universal moral standards. This illustrates how sakop mentality can blur moral boundaries, making it both a source of social solidarity and a potential cause of moral compromise.